I don't like to shake just 7 hands. I miss that 8th one very much.
CJ, any word from the White House? Any hint?
Dan, you've been here longer than any of us. You want to hazard a guess? Penetrate the presidential mind. Who's going to replace Dan?
A black? Possible? A woman? What about a black woman?
Could be anybody. I never tried to second guess the president. The man moves into the White House, you have no idea what happens to his mind. First convictions or campaign promises. Any of you have any idea you were going to be appointed? Hell, when I got the nod somewhere back in the dark ages, I was so surprised I think it stunted my growth. I just hope you named someone halfway sane. With an active membership card in the human race.
And someone who agrees with you.
Oh, not necessarily. You think I'm glad Stanley dead? Hell, I've never seen him dead. You think I hated Stanley because they didn't agree with me? Christ, nobody agreed with me. Not even my wife. Especially my wife. Justice Sally Moorhead and I were like a couple of flying buttresses. Leaning against opposite sides of a Gothic cathedral, we helped keep the roof from caving in. We both been on the same side all the time, how to push the building over.
10 o'clock, gentlemen.
The Honorable Chief Justice and the Associate Justices of the Supreme Court of the United States. Oyez, oyez, oyez. All persons having business before the Honorable the Supreme Court of the United States are admonished to call near and give their attention, for the court is now sitting. God save the United States and this Honorable Court.
Santa Ana Tennis Club. One moment, please.
Judge Loomis, telephone. Phone call for Judge Loomis. Judge Loomis, telephone. Phone call for Judge Loomis.
Loomis! Oh my goodness. Oh, wait just a second. Will you wait till I catch my breath? Don't put... Hello, Mr. President. I am fine. I've been playing tennis. 7-6, set point. Well, I did have an idea something might be going on when the FBI started questioning my grade school teachers. No, I won't consider it. I will save you another phone call. I will say yes right now. This is a great honor, Mr. President. I don't know how anybody could say no to it. Of course, the Senate might say no to me. Why, that would be a great pleasure. I would love to. When and if I get Washington. Yes. I wondered, though. I suppose it's not important, but I was thinking it might be considered unconstitutional for a Supreme Court justice to play tennis with the chief executive. You know, separation of powers and all. That's true. We would have a net in between. Thank you, Mr. President, very much. Goodbye.
Who's that?
Mason Woods, may I come in, sir?
As far as you're going to come in, what the hell do you think you're here for?
Thank you, sir.
I've only got one complaint about you so far. You're too goddamn polite. I'm not just long enough to be scared of me. Relax, Mason. You got the job.
I found the references you wanted, and I dug up a few more, too.
Good.
Would you like some tea, Mr. Justice, or scotch?
Well, it's been a long day. Maybe I better have both. Don't overdo it. Forget the tea. Showing yourself.
Well, thank you, sir, but I don't drink.
Oh, that's too bad. Peace.
This one supports your position on Abbott versus Zolotech,
Forget Abbott.
but it's due consideration next week.
He took it off the conference list.
But you gotta hear Abbott be on the tech.
I was sure we had the votes. I was counting on the CJ, but I think he's getting scared. Don't be cautious, Mason. The people are always falling down on the people who pick up over something. Take a chance.
Yes, sir.
Now, don't always agree with me. If you think I'm wrong, then don't say it. What the hell good are you? My law clerks will argue with me. Otherwise, I'll be my own law clerk.
Yes, sir. God knows. I mean, I'll try to do that, sir. I try not to do that. that? Collins versus California. It's the kinky one that kicked up from the Ninth Circuit. The Berkeley student who wore a T-shirt that said, "Fuck the White House."
Have his pants off?
Doesn't say.
And I don't see any clear and present danger that
The Ninth Circuit held it was offensive to the public sensibility.
being offensive isn't an offense. One man's pornography may be another man's poetry. Yeah, Lady Purity speaking from the cloisters of California. Listen, free speech is not ipso facto filthy speech. Dirt is a splendid environment for earthworms, but it is a grave for the human mind. I just wish the hell she didn't write so goddamn well. You know, this kind of moral dry cleaning could be dangerous if it caught on. See, Mason, that's what this court is for, to restrain the Ruth Lomases of the world.
I found this opinion on surveillance, but you won't have to read it.
Why not?
You wrote it.
Well, read it to me. I might have forgotten it or changed my mind.
When God created the world, he did it alone, in private, all by himself. No monitors, no hidden microphones. He made it the way he wanted it. But what if somebody had invaded God's privacy? Would he have put the world together the same way? I doubt it. He'd have made it a popular world, and the Garden of Eden would have turned out like Las Vegas or 42nd Street. Privacy is no luxury. It's as indispensable as the dark earth, where a seed hides itself before sprouting into a plant or a tree, or the quiet of the womb, where life hides, getting ready to sprout into a human being. Ripped into that mystery too soon, and what happens? Death. He's a pretty good writer, too.
But he's pretty full of himself.
Are you taking any calls, sir?
It's Birnbaum again.
No, she won't. Chambers of Justice Snow. Oh, yes, Mrs. Snow. No, this is Mason Woods. It's your wife, but she doesn't want to bother you.
You're not bothering me. You're interrupting me, but you're not bothering me. I'm not sure what time I'll be on for dinner. What time do you want me? Don't go, Mason. Tell me who's Tommy. I'll tell you what time I'll be on for dinner. Expect me about 11:15. They'll be gone by then. I am not antisocial. I'll be charming. Just have me a stiff drink when I come in the door. What happened, Mr. Birnbaum?
She left early.
What's her problem?
Sinus?
Again? Maybe she should have it removed.
She looks terrible.
Birnbaum has been with me for 23 years and she always looks terrible.
I thought maybe I better order you a substitute secretary.
Mason, you wouldn't do that to me. It's easier changing wives than changing secretaries. A substitute wife doesn't have to be told her everything he is.
How do you do that, sir?
Do what?
Just reach right in there and find exactly what you're looking for in the middle of all that.
Mass radar. Don't ever clean up my desk, Mason. Never be able to find anything. I've always been suspicious of neatness. If there's nothing on top of a man's desk, it probably means he shoved all the clutter into his desk drawers. If there's nothing in his desk drawers, what the hell does he need a desk for? If I sit behind, look important. I like to have my mess right on top where I can enjoy it.
Yeah, may I come in?
Come in, CJ.
How are you, Mr. Chief Justice? I'm not sure. Mind if I lie down on your couch?
Mason, find out if those T-shirts are available on the open market. I might like to wear one on a rope.
What T-shirts?
None of your goddamn business. Why ask you about your underwear? Thanks to the Supreme Court of the United States, there's still a few zones of privacy.
How come your couch is more comfortable than mine?
Maybe I'll leave you that couch. It's a going away present.
Who's going away?
I am. I might.
When?
Oh, after the president appoints a man to take Stanley's place and the Senate approves of him. Think of the people who spread a gun with joy if I retired.
You wouldn't do that to me, Dan. Does health have anything to do with it?
Frankly, yes. I was out of Bethesda a couple of weeks ago for a checkup.
Yes?
I'm in pretty good shape, and I'll be damned if I'm going to waste what's left of my health writing dissenting opinions.
Don't leave.
Oh, I know an 8-man course like a 4-man basketball team.
Yeah.
When do you think the president's going to make an announcement? Who's he going to pick? Already been appointed. Who is he?
Mr. Justice Snow, I'll have to ask you to rephrase that question.
It's a woman. He picked a woman. Great, good for him. It ought to be fired. Who is it? Who is she? Who?
The President just sent up to the Senate Judiciary Committee the name of Judge Ruth Hagedorn Loomis of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals.
Get up, my cops are going to lie down. You're joking. It's a joke. It's a joke, isn't it?
The President, I am told, thinks he has just taken a great progressive step in the history of mankind.
A truck out of our county? This prone whip of 1984?
Appointing a woman, that's 21st century stuff.
Ruth Loomis. Why would he do a thing like that?
Well, I guess the President gets advice from everybody. He doesn't want to rock the economy, and I guess he thinks she's safe.
What goes through a man's head making an appointment like that?
He's trying to be even-handed, president of all the people, and we've got this wave of morality sweeping the country.
Jeff, the Senate will never go for her, will they? Will they?
Where's Miss Birnbaum? Chambers of Justice, no. Reporter, do you have any comment for the Washington Post?
Sure, tell him I think Sue's wrote him a hell of a march.
No comment from Justice Snow at this time.
You're better than Miss Birnbaum. He wants a woman in the court like Miss Birnbaum. Perfect. She never show up. Delete that. Irrelevant, frivolous. Jeff, I've been on this court longer than anybody. And I guess you know by now I'm an incorrigible egomaniac. I'm by to sell, and I know it. Why in God's name do I have this sinking feeling in my gut? Every time I think of that woman sitting in this court. Not because she's a woman, I like women. I'm married to one. Bench the smell of a little perfume on it. First, I wasn't too happy about your appointment, you know, the way you handled some of your cases in private practice.
I was young.
But Ruth Loomis. Did you read the piece she wrote in the Hastings Law Review on school busing?
I read it.
Jeff, every president I've ever known, and I've known a lot of them, hears himself talking into a microphone. He's convinced it's the Gettysburg Address. All those ad-libs he got from his speechwriters and his Freedom Department's quotations, he thinks. But when he takes off on that helicopter, he's just blowing manure off the White House lawn. You know what's left that the president's put to pass for you, me, Ruth Loomis.
How can you just let it ring?
The telephone has no constitutional rights to be answered. Snow versus Ma Bell. Don't pay attention, it'll go away. See?
What am I going to say to the press?
You're not guilty of anything.
I can't say anything. It'd be improper. It might influence the Senate vote.
God forbid.
I hear she plays a great game of tennis.
Hitler plays a harmonica.
She may not be so bad. She's young, and we can sure use some young blood around here. She isn't stupid. It's the dumb ones of this world that drive me up the wall. You never know which way they're going to jump.
Is it true? Jack Anderson is on the telephone. Would either one of you care to say anything to him?
Yeah, ask him where I'm going to spend my vacation next summer. I don't know, but he probably does. I'll
neither one of you is available for comment.
You know, this whole thing could have been avoided if Stanley hadn't gone and died. Telling isn't something you ought to do in the spur of the moment. Justice kicks off the wrong time, you can allow some civilization for 50 years.
How does Jack Anderson find out what happens in the Oval Office so fast?
Sample, you've got a friend in the Soviet embassy.
I forgot to have lunch. You want to join me?
Why not? Maybe lunch is too strong a word for cottage cheese.
One thing more. Please talk to me before you make your resignation public.
Resignation? Who the hell's going to resign? You think I'd leave you alone to be sprayed down by that Lysol lady of Orange County? And if that holy hunt over at the White House would make her replace Stanley Moorhead, who in God's name do you think they'd send up to take my seat? John Wayne?
I'm sorry, Judge Loomis, that these proceedings are taking so much time, but we're breaking down here. You're saying, President, I trust the committee's questions aren't embarrassing you.
I don't embarrass easily, Senator.
Judge Loomis, about your interests and equities, would they influence your decisions on the High Court?
The financial statement in front of you is complete, Senator. When I was appointed to the Ninth Circuit, I sold or gave away anything that might possibly raise a question of conflict of interest.
But you were still married to a very active and successful corporation lawyer.
Was I supposed to sell him to or give him away?
According to this FBI report, your husband was a partner in the law firm of Loomis and Loomis. Who was the second Loomis?
Well, my husband and I never worried very much about which was which.
Might this give the impression that a federal judge was still in private practice?
The federal judge is lucky to have come for anything private. No, I disassociated myself totally from her.
Didn't your husband represent the respondent in the case of California versus Coastline Oil?
May I respectfully remind you, Senator, that when the Ninth Circuit heard the Coastline appeal, I disqualified myself. Is it necessary to keep bringing up my husband? When I left the firm to go to the federal bench, he took over the entire practice. After his death, I had no connection with the firm whatsoever. What is it that you're challenging me for? Is it the opinions of my late husband?
No, Judge Loomis. We are taking a measure of your opinion.
Which have sometimes been extreme.
In constitutional matters, Senator, I am a hanging judge.
But whose neck is in the noose? Which is more sacred in your book? Bodies created by lawyers, corporations, or bodies created by God? Men. And women.
I think the law is sacred. It is made by men for men, and that includes women and children, governments, corporations, presidents, senators, and justices of the Supreme Court.
Well, quite frankly, do you feel your decisions on the High Court might be influenced by the fact that, you are a woman?
Aren't a man's decisions influenced by the fact that he's a man? For 2 centuries, the court has expressed men's opinions. Perhaps it's time for the majority of the population to have one voice in 9 in the rulings of the Supreme Court.
Just 1 minute, Judge Loomis. Are you implying that male justice is somehow perverted?
I'm sorry, perverted.
Well, that may be the wrong word. Distorted? Prejudiced? Because it's been administered by the masculine gender?
Oh, I don't think justice has gender. Shakespeare's most famous lawyer is a woman. The statue of justice holding the balance scales is a woman. Unfortunately, she's blindfolded.
Well, if you're confirmed by this committee and the full body of the Senate, I guess we'll be taking the blindfold off, lady. Having a lady on the Supreme Court.
Why do you have to think of me as a lady? I thought most people had outgrown those cliched fears about the periodic instability of the female of the species. Eggs are not the seeds of insanity. A woman can ovulate and think at the same time.
We're striving to be objective.
I'm a woman, an ex-girl. What has sex got to do with being a judge?
Well,
Excuse me, somebody with the capacity to bear children is gifted, not crippled. A uterus is like absolute pitch. Some people have it, some don't.
according to this fact sheet, Judge Loomis has never had any children.
Does the Constitution say a Supreme Court justice has to be a mother?
I think I dropped that line of questioning, George. Judge Loomis, this committee is cognizant of your notable career on the federal bench, and it has not been our intention to probe into your personal life.
Why not? My entire life is public. The FBI is wrong in reporting to you that I have no children. I have had hundreds. We're the parents of our ideas, aren't we? My children, my legal decisions, my opinions are the result of conception and gestation. Sometimes the delivery is painful. You may not like my children, you may think that they're ugly, but so help me God, your ideas and mine have equal rights to live together, to breathe, to grow, to change, even to die.
If there are no further questions, the committee will consider in the executive session what it will recommend to the full body of the Senate. Thank you, Judge Loomis, for your cooperation.
Thank you, Senator.
Well, there is she. Maybe we should sound the warning buzzer sooner. I suppose she has some things to do we don't. After all, I don't have to do anything with my hair. You're late, Dan.
Not as late as I intended to be.
This is an historic occasion.
Just like the Jesuits going co-ed.
9:58, President. Ladies and gentlemen. Lady and...
You think you want to hang chintz curtains everywhere? I hate chintz.
Why am I nervous? She's the one who should be nervous. Gentlemen, we should make up our minds right now that things are not going to be any different from the way they have been every 2 minutes to 10 in the history of this court. We've got to think of her exactly as if she were one of the brothers. Justice Loomis. Welcome to the court.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Justice. And thank you for those lovely roses.
Exactly like one of the brothers. When's the last time you sent me roses?
9:59. We shake hands like this every day, every morning, just before we take the bench.
Like 9 boxers coming into the ring. We shake hands before we knock each other out.
10 o'clock.
The Honorable Chief Justice and the Associate Justices of the Supreme Court of the United States. Oyez, oyez, oyez. All persons having business before the Honorable, the Supreme Court of the United States, are admonished to draw near and give their attention to the United States and this Honorable Court.
Preliminary notes on Fonda versus Nebraska. This court is the keep of the conscience of this country. You can't pretend the First Amendment was never written. Doesn't it bind us to protect the right of free expression, even when we find ourselves defending acts which revolt us, repel us, disgust us, make us vomit?
Mason. Make a note. Change the word vomit to wretch.
You're early, sir.
The brethren went down to the screening room. The brethren and one sister. Mason, you rearranged my desk?
No, sir. Your mess is just shifted everything in the middle about 8 inches east to make room for the stuff he wanted on obscenity. You know, I didn't even have to mark the cases. The books just fall right open to him.
Thank you, Mason.
Dan, don't you want to come down to the projection room?
What for?
Mahoney versus Nebraska. This film's called The Naked Nymphomaniac. Even you might learn something.
Enjoy yourself.
Dan, I wanted you around because, well, this is the first time we've had a porno screening since the... Well, it's sort of like having a nun at a stag party.
Oh, please, not necessary to stand.
The Naked Nymphomaniac. History of Lois. A lonely girl whipped by storms of passion she couldn't understand. What began as a carefree game for Lois became all-consuming desire. To Lois, men are not people. Not faces, voices, minds, they are bodies. Bare flesh.
Why is Mr. Justice Snow here?
He never comes to these showings. Let's look at the other sex as Lois sees them.
Oh, let's not.
Oh, that's her, Mom. They're all for me.
Chief, yes, Harold. Haven't we seen enough? Is there any point in running it all the way to the original end?
Will Lois ever be cured?
I don't know about Lois, but I'm good. Projectionist, would you hold the film, please? Now, does anyone object if we don't run the rest of this masterpiece? I don't.
I do. I object. I think that you're stopping the film for only one reason. You're embarrassed because there's a woman in the room.
That's not why I'm uncomfortable.
No, I think Justice Loomis has a point.
If at any time the court limits the review of anything because you feel I might be offended, well, that simply defeats our whole purpose here, doesn't it?
Projectionist, you may take... Just a moment, please. Oh, I suppose, Madam Justice Loomis, I do feel some embarrassment. To be completely frank with you, that you have to sit here and watch this thing.
Well, I don't have to. Justice Snow doesn't feel that he has to. I do have a sense of responsibility.
I understand how Harold feels. I wouldn't want to see this with my wife or arrange a special showing for Mother's Day.
But your wife and your mother have not been appointed to this court.
Not yet. Time is the point, gentlemen. That Madam Justice, and I submit we have a responsibility not to waste it.
Here.
Now, we don't have to see every frame of this film any more than we have to examine every wall of every fingerprint in a criminal case that comes up to us on surface. We'd never get anything done.
Then may I suggest that the Chief Justice ask one of us to see the entire film to find out if there's a shred of redeeming social or artistic value?
I don't think that would be necessary. The brief contends that the narration makes the whole thing educational. Now, does anyone here need any more education?
No, sir.
Well, I graduated.
And as for the visual component, I gather you just see a lot more of Lois's clients and a lot more of Lois.
How much more of Lois they can show us?
Such as a sequence in X-ray.
I guess the matinee is over.
Justice,
I do apologize, Madam Justice.
you do? Why?
Well, some of our cases get a little raunchy.
The lower court wasn't exactly the Sistine Chapel. Something is very wrong here. You're all so polite to me. I'm not talking too much, am I?
No. We want you to speak up. Speak right out anytime you feel like. Raise hell if you want to.
You may be sorry you said that.
I howl in protest at regular intervals, full moon usually.
Well, you're the chief.
Responsibility, that's all. First among equals, nobody has any special privilege.
Not true. You know who really claims privilege on this court?
Who?
Mr. Justice Daniel Snow. How can he pass judgment on something without judging it at all? 8 justices thought seeing this film was relevant to reaching a decision.
Some of it anyhow.
Well, if he shuts his eyes and plugs up his ears, does he have the right to cast a vote on what he's not seen nor heard? Hasn't he virtually disqualified himself on Mahoney?
Would you care to suggest that to Justice Snow?
I don't think that is one of my privileges or responsibilities. Isn't it yours? Protectionist, would you continue the film, please?
Note to myself, type this up triple space, Miss Birnbaum, with enough room for me to doodle over it. Versus Nebraska. Mahoney sought reversal of court order's ban showing of the naked nymphomaniac in the Omaha Arts Theater. Correction, it's Omaha Fine Arts Theater. Relevant cases, Green, 1931. 286 U.S., 29 of 32, footnote 2. U.S. Salveston, 1954. That's in volume 392 U.S., maybe 393. And Alliance Club versus Ronald Reagan et al., 1971. Also president of reversing the court. Hello, C.J. Enjoy the movie?
Sure, but, well, something unexpected happened.
Naked nymphomaniac, what the hell could that be?
A question was asked, or more accurately, a suggestion was made.
Yeah.
Our newest member wonders,
Yeah.
well, what it amounts to is should attendance be obligatory at these obscenity screenings?
Who wasn't there besides me?
The house was packed.
What's there be?
Well, the lady wondered if a justice who hasn't seen any part of this film
He
had...
wants me to disqualify myself because I won't allow to sit through that pile of crap.
Well,
You think it's a Boy Scout obligation? A justice has to pass that stuff like a slaughterhouse inspector? Want to stamp U.S. crime grade A crap? Well, if it is crap, that's not the point. Crap's got a right to be crap.
Drop the legal language down.
You as Chief Justice suggesting that I disqualify myself for voting on Mahoney?
I am merely suggesting that it has been suggested. I should not have said anything.
For Christ's sake, C.J., we're not honest here. Where can we expect the crooks to be?
Where are you going?
Where do you think I'm going? I've got a present for Madame Justesse. Not roses. I'm going to give her a piece of my mind, which I can spare, and she sure as hell can use.
She's got another complaint.
Yeah.
She thinks we're being too polite to her.
Well, I'll help her reverse that.
Yes.
Justice Loomis, Mr. Justice Snow would like to see you.
Where?
He's here.
Oh? Tell Mr. Justice Snow to come right in, Ross.
No, please, don't get up.
You'd stand, Mr. Justice, if I came to call on you in chambers?
Don't be too sure.
I think that you would, and I'm an egalitarian.
I'm a egalitarian. Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. I can't tell you how grateful I am to you for seeing me like this. No notice whatsoever.
It's my honor.
Is it? I suppose it is. Let's relax. Like relaxing? Hey, that's what it is. It's so neat. Aircraft land here frequently.
What is it that you wanted to see me about?
Nothing earth-shaking. By George, I was a little startled to see a male law clerk out there, a little disappointed, actually.
Oh, Mr. Robinson. No, he's not my law clerk. He's my secretary.
Well, what a generous gesture. The men will feel previously dominated by the other sex.
I'm glad to hear you're in favor of men's lib. My law clerk won't be getting here till next week. She's closing up my office in Santa Ana.
Oh, she is. Now, I guess that's going to dam up the seemingly endless river of clerks pouring out of Harvard Law School. All right, sharp, bubbling with legal know-how. No more trouble with them. All boys.
She's from Harvard.
Madam Justice, you have personally more recent knowledge of certain areas of judicial consideration than I have.
Well, I find that hard to believe. Everybody in the legal profession knows of your astonishing faculty for total recall and how remarkable it is to retain that talent for so many years.
I want your opinion on a point of law regarding that great American art form, the motion picture. I don't see a lot of motion pictures.
Neither do I.
You don't? I'm surprised. I thought you people out in California spent a whole lot of your time going to the movies.
You don't think much of California, do you?
Try not to think of it at all. I was wondering if by any chance you've seen a film recently called... I suppose some men be embarrassed to say the title out loud in mixed company.
The Naked Nymphomaniac.
That's it. Good one. I don't suppose you noticed I wasn't there.
I noticed.
Oh, you did? Well, I wanted to ask you, as an expert witness, you might say, if you found anything unpleasant in the picture, maybe even a trifle distasteful.
The Naked Nymphomaniac is a total offense against the public sensibility.
My. You better know that. Well, I wonder if you could put your finger on exactly what it was that offended you. Let's start at the beginning. Was it the title? Some particular word in the title? The adjective. Was it naked? What do we call it? The fully clothed nymphomaniac. The noun, that explicit noun, nymphomaniac. What do we call it? The naked Methodist, or the naked daughter of the American Revolution. The High Court should strike down both words. Personally, I'd be tempted to pay money to box up and see something called the censored censor.
Are you finished?
Madam Justice, I'm a long way from being finished. I'm willing to pause briefly in case you want to say something.
Let me ask you something. Would you call a female governor a governess? Is a woman composer a composeress? No, and her sex is entirely beside the point. And justice, the Supreme Court is full of justice, not Madam Justice. The question in my mind is this. What is the government for? Isn't it to protect people? Aren't the police supposed to protect us from crime? Or how would the fire department bother to answer the alarm? I'm so sorry we can't come over right now. We're finishing our card game. Miss Justice Snow, is this nation's whole moral house ablaze? Violence in the streets, kids on drugs, schools falling apart. I call that a real fire, and we have an obligation to put it out. Or are we just going to sit around playing pinochle?
Madam?
I'm not quite finished yet. In the past, we did not coddle criminals. We sent them to prison. And we did not have this country an all-day celebration. I think that there is some wisdom in relating what will be to what was.
I look at it the other way around. Perhaps that's the difference between a conservative and a...
Radical? I'm a radical. Latin, radix, root. I believe in beginnings. I believe in primary causes, in sources. As a radical, I do not want to see the country pulled up by roots.
You think we've lost something?
I certainly do. Well, we've lost what we were. The small town, the one-man farm. Now we're losing the family. Nobody cares about other people. Nobody seems to care about anything anymore. And where's the energy, the spirit that created this country in the first place? Gone. Lost.
Maybe we've had too much progress. Suppose we move this whole court back to where it was, in the basement of the Capitol. Down one flight of opinions and bargain prices. Back then, the original justices all lived in the same boarding house. Now, well, that shut the same bed. That'll be all right with you, Madam Justice. Now, we've all declared ourselves neuter. Why not bring it back to the good old days?
I knew that you and I would disagree, but I didn't expect the justice of this high tribunal to talk and act like a burst comic. I happen to think of the Supreme Court as the American Olympics.
And oh, God sitting up there, holy Christ, I've spent 34 years in this court trying not to be a God. Trying not to make this some unscalable mountain to high above what's happening. I've been trying to bring the court down to the mountain.
That's interesting. And on your vacations, you like to climb. Why do you suppose you do that?
The view.
You wouldn't look at a naked nymphomaniac.
What I see from a mountaintop doesn't get erased because I looked at it. When I stare out across the Owens Valley from Whitney Portal, I am not passing judgment that I'm enjoying it. And if a buzzard fully in the hotness out of Death Valley happens to Mars anew, I would obliterate the landscape right off the map.
Justice Snow, is it your impression that the First Amendment denies this court the right to rule on what may be decent or indecent?
I couldn't have put it better. I think it's illegal for any of us to sit there and pass judgment on Mahoney's picture. In my opinion, the First Amendment makes proper for me to cite something under the censor.
Refusing to look at a picture is censorship.
Why, hell of what's telling doesn't make it illegal.
Sometimes it's irrelevant.
That's right.
You think the First Amendment justifies Mahoney did?
It's theatrical self-expression.
Yes, and so is vomiting into a pan.
If Mahoney could have anybody's head and say, hey, if you don't mind taking to my masterpiece, I'll blow your brains out, that might be illegal.
You set no limits on freedom of speech.
None.
From annexing any outrage.
Censorship is an outrage.
What about falsely shouting fire in a crowd? Or don't you happen to agree with Mr. Justice Holmes? You condone inciting to riot?
Of course not.
Well, what about inciting to decadence?
Define decay.
That is what we are here for.
Not me.
Well, we better try. If the rule of law means anything.
Watch out. You can't turn law into a cigarette. I think law's got to be suited to clothes men can wear. Got to fit easy, be comfortable. Law shouldn't strap a man into the throat or the brain or the crotch.
That's vivid. You know what you are doing? You're making Mahoney more important than the law.
He is more important than the law.
Our job on this court is to extract broad legal principles.
What about the individual?
He's covered in the lower courts.
Very more likely in your broad legal principle.
Come now, Mahoney had his day in court.
He had. He's still on trial. The case him, but the man disappeared.
We're not supposed to try men. We put their trials on trial.
That's it, lady. We're constantly examining the witness who isn't there. Cold records. Cold weeks. It's a rehash. Got legal leftovers. Where's the man? Where's the pain? We've got to touch flesh.
We've got to be dispassionate.
Do we? I got a feeling you left your feelings back in Santa Ana. And some faraway day after you get off this truck about broad legal principles and thinking about human beings, and you just might make a damn good justice. Till then, I got my doubts.
Oh, you're just being sweet to me because I'm a woman.
I'm being dispassionate.
Watch out, we might agree on something.
I doubt it. May I make a somewhat extra legal observation? Find you would be a hell of a lot simpler if you had a beard.
Yes, I'm afraid I can't reach you right now, Mr. Snow. He's gone. No, not in the conference room. He's in chambers with Madam Justice Loomis. I'll tell him just as soon as he gets in. Goodbye. Mrs. Snow just called.
On her back, I can't talk to her.
Yes, sir.
Also, I don't talk to anybody. Hold on. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want any interruptions. None. I've got to work. I have got to concentrate.
Yes, oh, he told me.
No, I would dream of disturbing Mr. Justice Snow. I am looking for James G. Mahoney. Ah, there you are, Mr. Mahoney.
Huh?
Yes, a respected colleague of mine feels that I ought to get to know you and your artistic achievements. What was the expression he used? Oh, yes, touch, flesh.
Vivid.
Would you care to take the witness stand, please, Mr. Mahoney?
You gonna swear me in?
You gonna like me?
Well, you better swear me in. I, James G. Mahoney, do solemnly swear the testimony I'm about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me, Loomis.
All right, Mahoney, let's get right to the point. Are you aware that you broke a law?
No, ma'am?
Oh, you didn't know that the pornography?
Oh, doesn't the Constitution apply to people in Nebraska? Isn't the First Amendment umbrella to keep everybody from getting better to a hole in it over Omaha?
Well, just a minute, Mr. Mahoney. I think you're hiding behind broad legal principles, which might be offensive to certain senior members of this court.
Well, there are broad principles and broad principles.
Oh, yes. And you, along with those who champion your shabby cause, reserve the right to select those particular rules which serve your case.
Look, lady, I'm a businessman. I don't see where the government's got any business telling me how to run my business.
Oh, I'm relieved. For a while, I thought you might be thinking of yourself as an artist. Well, I do recall mention of the word art somewhere in your brief. Tell me, do you honestly believe the naked nymphomaniac is art?
Sure, why not? Who's to say it? What's art anyway? Artists don't even know, let alone lawyers.
Suppose that's what the critics want.
I don't think everybody should see my picture. Probably some people should see it.
Oh, who?
Kids, too educational.
Education. Is that why you made this picture, Mr. Mahoney?
Well,
Exactly what was your motivation for filming the naked nymphomaniac?
money. You can't have much pursuit of happiness in this country unless you pursue a little money. Anything unconstitutional about that?
Does the Constitution give you the right to do anything for money?
Does it give you the right to shove me into bankruptcy?
My colleague on this bench, Mr. Justice Daniel Snow, feels very strongly about profit-pursuing companies which pollute the air.
Absolutely right. Fine man, Justice Snow.
Doesn't your film pollute the mind and morals of people who see it?
Air's different. You gotta breathe. You don't have to go to the movies.
In the trade, your picture's called an exploitation film, isn't it?
That's right. You're trying to keep me from exploiting.
Aren't you exploiting women? The act of love, the innocence of young people?
Oh, I heard. Has anybody died from seeing the naked nymphomaniac?
Oh, not bodily harm, perhaps. But what about injury to the spirit? Doesn't your celluloid play attack all human dignity and decency and beauty?
I don't think you like my picture. Okay, some people like shredded wheat. What a taste.
For lack of it. Have you been to New York City lately?
I was just still there.
I used to go to Times Square and down 44th and 45th Street sit with blaze of culture, unforgettable music, powerful plays. Today, right around the corner on 8th Avenue, your movie is probably playing, along with a lot of other nudist pornography and film. What was a fountain of light and beauty is now a cesspool.
Careful, lady. Watch out. Scratch me. Put me out of this. Isn't who else gets scratched. You can use the same method here to wipe out that unforgettable, new powerful place.
Oh, Mahoney. Well, you can turn every sleeve inside out. You want a license to dirty up my liberties, my right of security against the profiteering two-legged cockroaches of this world, my right to live in a sweet and decent society and not some kind of a sewer.
Dan, I'd like to,
I have learned from Mr. Justice Snow we mustn't live in a never-never land of broad legal principles. He says that a Supreme Court justice, in order to achieve greatness, like his, must reach a man, must translate him from paper into book. Well, I'm glad I met you, Mahoney. You made me see how wrong it is. The first sentence is a stick of gum that you can pull out, lost all of its stretch. And if you shove the same stick of gum into everybody's mouth, all the flavor is going to get chewed out, and it's not going to stick to anything. Not even the bottom of a holy seed in the Omaha Fine Arts.
I think I'm a nut.
The word is yours, Mahoney.
We have a fit to protect our nuts, our non-conformists, our anomalies.
Irrelevant.
Because eccentricity is very often the camouflage of genius.
You're safe, Mahoney. I've seen your picture. No more questions.
No, you make a good trial lawyer. Too bad you had to give it up.
You make a very good actor. Your characterization of Mahoney is very hard to forget. I may always have the feeling pornographic movie producer under your roof.
It makes me sick to my stomach to defend the principle as noble as the First Amendment on the basis of that can of film you found so offensive. But by God, as long as I've got tongue and teeth and tonsils and the ability to talk, I'll defend everybody's right to speak and every man's right to be wrong.
I'm going to yield to you as the the authority on that, Mr. Justice.
Dangerous. That woman is dangerous. We've got this together, CJ. And all this court only has 8 of us left against all of her.
It knocks me out.
What does?
The way you play tennis.
Oh, I was lucky this morning.
You seem to be lucky every time we play.
Come on in, Mason. Have a cup of coffee. What do you think this is, enemy territory?
Does anybody ever break through your service?
Not if I can help it. Milk and sugar?
No, thank you.
You know, Dan Snow's done a lot for my tennis game. When I get a high one I can really kill, that isn't you on the other side of that net, Mason.
So that's why they go by me so fast. Where'd you take lessons?
You know I never did. Well, that's not entirely true. My husband taught me. And in all the years we were married, I only beat him once. What does your good, great justice do for recreation?
He climbs.
I mean, when there isn't a mountain in the neighborhood.
Well, he descends. Of course, there's always a mountain on his desk. Sometimes he works till 3 or 4 in the morning.
My wife must love that. What is she like?
She's very pretty, quiet. I only met her a couple of times at protocol things.
How is he to work for?
It isn't working.
Oh, what must I read of Dan Snow's charm?
I think he's a great man.
Well, he certainly thinks so. How does he feel about our playing tennis together?
I'm not sure. I haven't told him yet. But I don't intend to until I beat you at least once.
And that's not going to happen because I like to win.
I've noticed.
What is that? Are you scared of it?
Well,
How do you stand the temperature changes? Every time I see him either ice cold or white hot net. Is he ever like a normal human being, room temperature?
he has very strong feelings. Same as you do.
I think Dan Snow and I are like.
No. No, but, well, you try similar business. Don't care about things. It's not important, nothing. Whether it's making a point of bench or on this court.
Thursday morning, 7:30.
I'll be there.
Does there talk about me?
All the time.
Anything quotable?
Well,
I withdraw my question. Here's evidence invisible.
thanks. For coffee.
Birnbaum, you there? Mason, get on in here. There's been a robbery. Mason! Get the marshal's office. Marshal, this is Dan Snow. I've got an emergency here. Somebody must have busted in my chambers. Some madman cleaning one. Is my law clerk Mason put in the building? Going into whose chambers? Hotel? Never mind, he's come home.
Some problems, Justice.
You're damn right there's a problem. Look at this mess.
So much. Secretary must have done. I had to get you something, sir. I didn't realize she was tight.
Mason, Birnbaum in here to throw the rules and get your tiny substitute another assignment. I suggest Albania.
Why does Birnbaum back even though she's sick?
Mason, Birnbaum was well for 2 weeks in September 1973. Science is never induced like automatic 6-month cycle. Supposed to take the right nostril, you take the left nostril, go down the top. Where's the goddamn cherry blossom?
we get in a second couple weeks for records. She does very well for Supreme Court Justice. One hell of a package, sir.
I know, I've seen it work.
So, when we found out we were both tennis players,
Hell, go ahead, wear her out. I'll go to tennis tomorrow morning. Not even really thinking.
Did you realize we had him on the top floor? Once. Hold on some of those footage. You know, with weights on, throw my back out for a week.
You're messing up my desk. What's this?
I want to ask you a favor. Well, it's not a favor, really. I want to share some of my thinking with you before we go into that conference this afternoon.
Sure.
Well, we've got it open on the calendar.
It's a novelty.
The whole penitentiary case was mooted. It took so long, everybody got it. Received a supplement of the petition for search.
Boy, those guys just won't quit, will they?
I'm going to vote against hearing it.
What?
It's the same kind of exercise in futility that we had in Mahoney versus Nevada. Those are out there. Do we have to waste 3 weeks to review a decision on the reverse?
Oh, in this case, God knows it. What's the force of release to say over here?
I am just trying to be practical. Take Mahoney.
I understand the opinion.
What's brilliant? Absolutely brilliant.
Too, goddamn it, even Mahoney didn't lose 4 or 5. Someday when we stop recruiting our judge from the jungles of Orange County, for 4 or 5 years in the 5-4, I'm getting so goddamn sick of it. The short end of every vote.
I'm trying to say that.
But I don't want to say you want to keep on going straight to hell.
It's pointless to hash over this case again. If the missing witness, what's his name, Uncle Richard, if he could be found, if he would come forward, we could have it remanded to the lower court and take another crack at it. Until then, I see no new constitutional ground.
I smell plenty of refrigerated fish in this case. This new petition indicates that the Joker testified Rob Dang lying. He admits it.
And if we reopen the hearing, whenever a witness changes his mind, no trial would ever be settled. A simple traffic case could go on for 99 years. The witness could suddenly decide that the pedestrian ran over the car.
This is no traffic case. That's about to be executed, and somebody comes forward last minute and confesses. We gotta listen, my God.
Nobody's getting executed.
Somebody's getting straight over to you, me, the whole country.
Get off it, man.
Admit you gotta let me slap the counter.
I'm saying,
More about me on deck.
you are a troublemaker, you know that?
Holy troublemakers. Mason, you there?
Yes, Mr. Justice.
I'm going to be out of the office for a while. If there's an emergency, you can find me at the Smithsonian.
The Smithsonian?
Not on exhibit.
stockholders suit. Omnitech acquired patent rights to a totally new type of automobile engine. Abbott et al. Claim failure of corporation to develop patents is deliberate mismanagement and unlawful monopolistic practice. Lower court found for Abbott, appeals for reverse found for Omnitech. New basis for high court review. Sworn deposition by disgruntled officer of the corporation. That is ex-officer of the corporation. Supporting Abbott claim of mismanagement. The relevant references will be on the yellow headrods.
Mason, there's going to be a crate coming over from the Smithsonian.
Yes, sir. There was just one call, Mr. Justice, from Hardin and Wheat.
What do they do?
They're lawyers.
They're in trouble. What do they want?
They want to talk with your lawyer.
I'm my lawyer. Oh, Hardin Weeks. Yeah, what's it about?
They said they represent Mrs. Snow.
justice.
Might intimidate him a little.
Not enough. No, we gotta be fair. Call him back. Tell him I'll meet him in an hour. On the bench.
The bench.
Third one north of the statue in Lafayette Park.
Are you Mr. Justice Snow by any chance?
No, not by any chance, but an act of God.
Of course, Mr. Justice, this is a great honor.
Wait.
No.
Pardon?
I'm Blake. Blake, I'm a partner in Hardin Wheatson. I handle contracts mostly, civil matters. I don't often get to court. Oh, probate, of course. I do a lot of probate work.
That must be fun.
You have any objection if I sit down?
Help yourself.
Thank you.
You know where you're sitting?
Third bench north of...
Barney Church.
I beg pardon?
If Bernard Brew were alive, he'd be sitting on his lap. Sit down. You don't mind. What you want to talk to me about?
I hesitate to come to you in an adversary situation because, you see, I have enormous respect for you, Mr. Justice Snow. I think you're one of the greatest legal minds of America today.
Well, so far we're in complete agreement.
Our law firm has been engaged by your wife, Mrs. Snow. Shall we call her the party of the first part?
I rarely do, but go ahead.
Well, she asked us to contact your... Am I correct in my understanding that you, as party of the second part, will not be represented by counsel?
Well, in the second part has a hell of a counsel you're talking to. Go ahead.
I see. Well, our firm has been engaged to file suit against your client for dissolution of the marriage bonds and to seek support and maintenance from you, from your client, until such time as... I'm sorry that we of the legal profession sometimes have to be the bearer.
I didn't Wheatson come here to tell me this, or Hardin. Doesn't my wife deserve to be represented by a senior member of the firm?
This is actually just a pro forma.
I know why your bosses wouldn't face me with this, don't you? One day they may be pleading the case in front of me, and they don't want to be remembered as the boys that broke up my marriage.
Well, from the affidavit I have here from the party of the first part...
Yeah, what does my wife say about it?
For all intents and purposes, your marriage seems to have ceased to be...
How the hell did you know? You've been hanging around my house, man, like that?
No, there's been no surveillance.
What does she mean we don't talk to each other? I talk to her all the time.
I realize it must be painful for you to go...
My wife made this complaint under oath.
Yes, sir, in Mr. Hardin's office.
You ever say these things to me?
She says she did, but apparently you didn't pay
How the hell did she have the nerve to say I'm bad-tempered? God damn it, I'm the sweetest tempered son of a bitch in the district.
I'm not really in a position to make any comment.
What did she mean? I don't notice. I always notice. I say, lower your Bible. I don't see what's grounds for divorce if the husband doesn't drag on for 20 years.
That's your copy, sir. You can keep it if you want to.
I'm afraid.
There's just one other thing we ought to settle, if you don't mind, and I ask this of you not as party of the second part, but as attorney for the party of the second part.
What do you want to know?
Do you intend to contest this action?
What the hell business is it? You're talking with my wife.
So ask us to tell you that to avoid unnecessary unpleasantness, all communication should take place through the lawyers, not face-to-face.
She doesn't want to see me, even talk to me.
Those were her instructions. She says if you want the house for the time being, she's prepared to move in with friends down in Virginia. Or maybe you'd rather stay somewhere in town.
I didn't realize. She really needs it, doesn't she?
It would be helpful to know if you plan to take this to court.
I don't know. I doubt it. Only a damn fool goes to court. He doesn't have to.
want to be disturbed by anything further? Yes?
Mr. Justice Snow wonders if you'd make an exception.
Of course. Have him come in.
I don't want to interrupt your train of thought. I know how busy the brain of an associate justice can be. My, what happened to your desk? Have you been using it?
What can I do for you, Mr. Justice Snow?
Well, I got a little present for you. Not really a present, since I only borrowed from the Smithsonian. I can't really give it away, but we can share it. As we do so many things. Well, then. That might be called a footnote to Abbott versus Amatec. Some of our colleagues see the words momentum engine on a printed page, conjures up no image whatsoever. Harold, for example. Brilliant man, but to him, anything more mechanical than a nail file is supernatural. And Mahoney, I know you thought it was important to see that movie he made. I'm about to show you something that might be called the naked multinational. Just sit there and watch. We don't even have to lower the lights.
Not going to ask you to censor anything, are you? I know one member of this court finds that kind of thing unconstitutional.
Nothing about this machine is even slightly offensive to the public sensibility. What I'm going to get to it makes rape look like calisthenics.
What does it do?
What it does, it's doing. It's an energy bank. A storage battery tank full of gas. Put a little gizmo like this under the hood of a car, you can wave goodbye to internal combustion.
This is the invention on the technology.
Nobody invented momentum. It's been going on for quite a while.
Expect me to believe that this little thing has enough energy to drive a car?
But imagine a flywheel like that 20 times heavier, rotating 1,000 times as fast, encased in the perfect vacuum, no sticky air to slow it down. That's what these patents are all about.
It says in here, the vice president of the corporation testified under oath that the machine was not practical or feasible.
That's the witness who wants to change his testimony.
That thing making you nervous.
I'd be more nervous if I owned oil stock.
How can it replace oil? I mean, something tried to make it go.
Sure, this thing can pick up juice anyplace, anytime. Windmill, solar panel on the roof.
Why did you bring this in here?
Thomas Jefferson once said that an educated electorate is the basis of democracy. I go farther. I think it's important to even educate justices. Mason, wheel it over to Harold Webb's chambers. Just leave it. Turn it on. Don't explain anything. Just let it worry him a little.
It must have strained your humility being an expert on everything.
Well, I'm interested in everything. I might even take up the law.
You expect to change anybody's vote with that contraption?
Think of me as an angel of enlightenment.
I can read brief.
Just changing dead person a page in a visual image.
What's the implication? That I'm incompetent? You think I'm stupid?
Dear lady, if I thought you were stupid, I'd ignore you.
Now, factually, what happened? Amatec bought up a lot of patents.
That's a new power pack and drive every automobile in America.
No, that's not the way I read the brief. Abbott and a handful of stockholders started screaming at Amatec. Why don't you develop this thing? Clean up the atmosphere. End the energy crisis.
Why didn't they?
Wondering the reason. From the information here on my desk, it is an handy idea that just does not work.
Why did Amatec buy the patents? Shell out $500,000 and throw it all in the garbage.
They paid for it. That's their right.
I'll tell you what I think happened. Mr. Donald Richards, chairman of the board of Amatec, suddenly said, "Hey, fellas, what do we got here? This gizmo that make every car in the world is obsolete is a story with a fridge on top."
You know what your trouble is? You don't believe anybody in this country is honest. Except you. I doubt if you really believe in anything.
Yes, I do. I believe in doubt.
And where does that get you?
A little near the truth.
Yes, your notion of the truth, your bias.
Just let me explain a rather fine legal point.
Oh, don't treat me like some first-year lawsuit, will you?
Fine.
You are trying to change my mind.
Not at all. I want to show you something. You can change your mind all by yourself.
Just as snow comes down from the mountain.
With a little illumination.
Why do you make me the target of your barbs of enlightenment? Do you do this for the other justices? The brothers? They would kick you right out of their chambers.
All I
You
want.
want to make a contest. That's what you want, yes? I happen to be a woman, so your resplendent male ego tries to win me over. You know what you are? You're an intellectual now and then that I might think of something that has not occurred to you? Just a little phrase, a little footnote that could enlighten even your dazzling intellect?
I suppose that's possible.
I wouldn't do that. I don't think I have the right to invade the unalterable mind of Daniel Snow. You like that stuff, well-made pen?
I'm not unalterable.
Glad to hear it, but I wouldn't dream of proselytizing you or anybody. I think it's beneath the dignity of justice of this court to act like lobbyists. Aren't we supposed to conduct ourselves on a higher plane?
One of these days you'll get used to the thin air, the high altitude stuff. In my experience, it takes the average Supreme Court justice 5 or 6 years to get over holy honor being appointed.
I don't want to get over the honor. I hope I never do. I am proud to be here.
You go right on being proud, and I'll go right on being humble in my usual arrogant way.
Do you know what I believe in? Fervently? Something you said.
Oh.
Yes. From the bench on this court. And this is a verbatim quote.
You memorized it?
From the Venerable Justice Snow.
Not so venerable.
I repeat it to myself daily like a catechism.
I can't wait to hear it.
But sometimes I think you may have forgotten you said it. The noblest purpose of this high court is to keep the government off the backs of the people. Unquote. Well, you still believe that?
Sure, but I also think it applies to quasi-governments.
I don't understand at all what's a quasi-government.
Well, I'll put this on the law school forever. It isn't the kind of government beyond government. And does the chairman of the board have his own bureaucracy and foreign service with more actual power than the President of the United States?
Dreaming.
And the President has to go before the people every 4 years and say, hey, fellas, I don't know right even any of the impeached. But the head of the multinational group and environmental stock manipulation, they can pay their flight.
He's their life.
Their life. The rich live in the closet. Somebody he doesn't even come forward for his own trial, for God's sake.
Just one course to put him out of business.
You put Mahoney out of business, didn't you?
Abbott can't win.
Well, you know that, do you? For certainly. Seems to me anything can happen no matter how long the odds are. No more so one race can stay in the stable. Even if he comes in last, at least he gets a little fresh air. God, I love the way this country works. See you in court.
the entire establishment of enlightened capitalism. Ready? You can, Mr. Justice Snow, with your damn socialist ideas.
I'm about as socialist as Barbara Friction. You know what you brainwashed Brown?
Please. Destroy that negative.
I'm tired of looking like a delegate to an undertaker's convention. Why don't let the public see what's like behind the drapes, behind the rules?
Sit down, Daniel.
All right, why do we keep on lying to the people? some superannuated boys' choir singing God Bless America in unison.
Exception.
Boys' choir augmented by the cadences of a brilliant color from California.
Settle down, Harold, and try to remember what you did with your face last year. You look pretty good. What if I cross my legs?
Don't do anything for you.
I think Dan has a point. Well, that we shouldn't all try to look so bland and homogenized.
Trustworthy is enough. Just look trustworthy.
Somebody in Washington better look that way. Ready? Perfect. Please hold for one more. Ready? Thank you.
I'd like a couple of copies of the ones you want to tear up.
What for?
I don't know, irreverence, I guess. Wouldn't it be wonderful? We had some snapshots backstage at Independence Hall. The founding fathers scrapping with each other. Instead of all those touched-up oil paintings, everybody's Charlie Rose, you know, honorable. It's like the board of directors of Atlantic International.
I don't know whether or not this is in order, but would you hear Abbott beyond the pale? I would be very honored if you asked me to draft the majority opinion.
Oh, is it over here on the majority? Well, I guess I must have missed something.
Sorry, that was an improper request.
Not at all. A little premature, maybe. I'll certainly give it consideration.
I happen to feel very strongly on this particular issue. Of course, I couldn't hope to match the ringing rhetoric of Mr. Justice Snow's brilliant dissent.
Look, you can try.
I could try.
I'm still here.
Is everything all right, sir?
That'd be an overstatement, Jim. That's nothing for you to worry about.
All right, Mr. Justice. You should say good morning.
How long you been here?
Since October.
As for me, you brought me a midnight snack.
Like 4 a.m. snack. What are you doing in chambers so late?
Studying for finals. What about you?
What your opinions mine from the lower court? Well, didn't have any idea you'd still be here. Thought you'd get the first thing tomorrow.
I'm getting the last thing last night. It's earlier than you think. Aren't you going to believe it?
Do you want?
I'll read it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
May I ask you a question? Exactly how repulsive do you think I am?
Want my opinion as Supreme Court Justice?
No, I don't. Want to take the fifth? Never feel like wallpaper when I'm talking to you?
Wallpaper?
My wife does. That's one of her complaints. She claims I don't look any texture. It's like some repetitive pattern that's been hanging on the wall.
Did you tell your wife when you've been in chambers working all night?
I've been in chambers working all night.
Does she believe you?
Doesn't really make too much difference. Things been pretty cool around the Snow household last few days.
Do you argue?
I argue. My wife knows how to argue, not saying a word.
Who wins?
She doesn't tell me. I think she thinks I spend so much time being furious at you, I don't have any energy left to be furious at her. You know, hate, love, hate. And I suspect she's got a hunch that I consider you attractive.
Well, there is no evidence to support that contention.
I wouldn't be too sure.
Trust that you will assure Mrs. Snow the mere fact one of your colleagues happens to be a woman.
That is no mere fact, that is a towering fact. But then I've never been prejudiced by sex. Entertained, yes, prejudiced.
You mystify me.
I do? You mystify me. Sometimes I even mystify myself. Yep. It was a dandy. I remember it well. I don't agree with a word of it, but it's damn well written. How can you be so goddamn logical, so goddamn wrong?
How can it be wrong to encourage the economy? I've heard you talk about improving the quality of life on this planet. Well, I agree with you, Dan, but how? Justice.
That's fine.
Look at how your life and mine have been improved by the achievements of the business community. My goodness, are we going to throw all those benefits away? Should I take my weekly wash down to the banks of the Potomac and beat it with rocks?
Won't get it very clean.
Why should multinational be such a dirty word?
Where'd you get the idea I'm against all corporations? Some of them work fine. Little family corporations, nice. Happy to have around the house. Like a cat. Proudly king, gets his mice, personally destroyed. But when the cat starts making for the mice to take on the house.
If we reverse the sex circuit on Omnitech, it's going to be crippling automotive.
Or his business crippled itself by its own self-interest. Look, right after Pearl Harbor, we were all so scared. It took us 18 months for American industry to turn itself around and find out enough ships, planes, and tanks to win a war. These days, it's right once a night for 10 years. Think the million pounds of stick out of the smoke comes out of that in my car.
But they're trying. But if we decide against Omnitech, it's going to be chaos. No management will be able to manage its own business.
These decisions all part of management. Why doesn't management show it so dry? Not Don Richards. Why didn't the chairman of the board come forward to face, is accusing Don face to face?
What is it that you want to know?
You're not Donald Richards.
Swear me in.
Ah, you want to do that again? You're sworn. Mr. Richards, will you state your occupation, please?
President and chairman of the board of Omnitech International.
Why did you refuse to testify in the suit against your company?
I never received a subpoena.
A subpoena was issued.
It was never served.
They had to know where to serve it. But you deliberately made yourself unavailable, remained in hiding.
An American citizen has rights of privacy. May I quote the eminent jurist Daniel Snow? When God created the world, he did it alone, in private, all by himself. I hold that Justice Snow's opinion reinforces my own claim to privacy.
Well, I thank you, Mr. Richards, for coming forward even without a subpoena. I suppose you own stock in Omnitech International.
Yes, I'm a majority.
Yes, but what if you little bitty stock like Abbott and the others? Would you have faith, Mr. Richards, in a management that bought up something and then just sat on it? Dug a hole in the ground and buried it? Isn't that like uninventing an invention? Unborn in the ground, not taking a thought?
It would have been dishonest to stockholders for our company to spend any more money on an unworkable idea.
Why in the first place?
The inventor was a free agent. He didn't have to say,
Answer my question.
why we were hopeful.
You were hopeful, right? That wouldn't work. You deliberately suppressed the whole engine, killed it.
Buy a corner lot. You have no obligation to put a house on it.
You just let it go up in weeds.
I can do whatever I like as long as I have clear title.
Sure as hell want your neighbor.
As a corporation executive, I don't believe government has any business interfering in the decisions of my company as long as we remain within the law. I would like to quote again that respected patriarch of American justice, Mr. Daniel Snow, in the case of Mahoney versus Nebraska. The government has no business telling James G. Mahoney how to
gave him a patent so he could make a profit from the invention, fine. But the light itself belongs to everybody, and nobody has the right to turn on the darkness in this deposition for your info vice president.
Seem to hear my attorney's interjection.
I see here the judge say overruled. The vice president would testify around and make a law court now admits that he lied. If the momentum engine is workable, that it was deliberately dumped.
Why would anybody do that?
Because Alphatech International has billions invested in the internal combustion engine. And you have one noble purpose, Mr. Richards. Keep everything just the way it was. Like bronze baby shoes.
No, my purpose is to make things better. Look, an idea doesn't just happen, does it? Something's got to make it happen. It takes money to build a plant, to grind out a product, to advertise it, to sell it. You never hear of a new car or a tube of toothpaste going out and giving birth to itself. You know what it takes. Right. And nobody has come up with an invention or raised money to beat the online effective stock corporation. 3 cheers for private enterprise. Except it's really public enterprise. Anybody in the world can buy stock in on
But nobody makes decisions. It's a down record.
You don't like the way I run the corporation, sell your stock. At a profit, probably. Why, you insist on seeing me as some kind of a dropper cartoon with a bloated belly and a big black cigar. This is the day of enlightened capitalism.
Then let there be light. Come out of the dark now, Richards. Who are you? What do you look like? Look at that. That's a meter can find you. Oh, Christ, do I think Don Richards? I think you're dead. I think you're dead 8 or 10 years. I was ever saw you dead. I did nothing. Even that poor son of a vice president. Well, they never said the same home with you. I read memos or a voice on the telephone.
Irresponsible fiction that is fantasy.
You're dead. Who is running on the deck? Who actually holds all that power? Some cabal of faceless men with no names or fingerprints or social security numbers?
Why would anybody talk such a more than
For a lot of reasons. Inheritance taxes, voting on the government contract, voting power struggles. You're not on the deck. It's not a human being. It's a federal government. We can't say it. We didn't elect it. It never dies. We don't go on the sterile site in those boardrooms. You're going to be having some pet draws that sews up a new flag. The Stars Spangled on the deck. On the deck rules the waves. On the deck you...
What's that again? What is that? Marshall! Marshall!
Radio, your California call goes to the party's all alive.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you for getting back to me so promptly. I know how early it is out there. You understand this is not for business. What I'm trying to find out is, I remember my husband telling me that you and Donald Richards were friends. Darkman, yes. Tell me, after I left the firm, did you or my husband or anyone at Lewis have any connection whatsoever with Donald or with Sir Richard personally? Any legal representation or business relation? Yes, I need to know because that's whether or not I can probably sit judgment on this case. Well, if you don't know, who would? Well, there must be correspondence. There must be records. I would need full documentation of precisely what it was the firm had anything at all to do with it. Well, it's try to find out, can't you? All right. Good night. Thank you. Goodbye. Robinson, find out if there's any word now on Justice Snow with you, and let me know on the bench.
Yes, Madam Justice. Line 59. Jay, what do the doctors say? They don't know. They're making tests.
Is he in any pain?
I don't think so.
Don't ever remember Dan being sick before.
He considers it unconstitutional.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning. How's he doing here?
Is it working? As usual? I've never walked into that court chamber without Dan here.
Who has?
Mind like that can't just stop. You've all had years with Ben Snow. I've only had a few months.
General Wells.
Honorable, the Chief Justice and the Associate Justices of the Supreme Court of the United States. Oyez, oyez, oyez. All persons having business before the Honorable, the Supreme Court of the United States, are admonished to draw near and give their attention, for the court is now sitting. God save the United States and this honorable court.
Has Justice Lorena here?
No, sir.
How can a hospital just lose people? He's disappeared. Nobody knows where he is. I've already talked to the marshal. Apparently the damn fool just got up out of bed and walked out of the hospital.
Should we call police or the FBI, the CIA?
I don't trust any of them.
Don't worry about me, Marshal. Go back to the lobby and search briefcases for bombs. Hi, Mason. Well, CJ, don't you feel good? Well, there's a stupid invention. For 35 years. Get this back to my doctor while I borrow it from him. Go ahead and Mr. Jet.
What in God's name are you doing here?
I work here. A couple days ago. I guess it was a couple of nights ago. I'm standing right here saying something motley profile. Next thing I know, I was in an oxygen tent. It's the damn poor place they worked on.
Did you just get up and walk out?
No, that's first.
This is still your observation. I'm not even sure it ever happened to you.
Pick up without me. I can't give any more of my time. I got 5 miles of electronic. More of my blood than I have.
It was a coronary.
My God wouldn't dare attack me. And if it was a stroke, it's so silly. There's a meeting on that.
10 o'clock.
I'll be there. I think.
Are you all right, sir? Maybe you better lie down, Dan.
I will. Get off my couch.
Robinson, did you put this envelope on the desk?
Yes, ma'am. It was delivered by about 15 minutes ago. I signed for it.
What's the worst point on Justice Hall?
I'll call the hospital.
Thank you.
Like a bill, sir. Why not?
Stick around, man.
I intend to. You know what they say, it's not how good you are, it's how long you last. I want to climb one more mountain, and I mean a rock mountain. I expect to get back on my feet. I'm above the timberline and feel the sweet little wind across my varicose veins. Isn't the confidence wrong with me, son?
You feel well enough to join us?
How do you think I came back before? I'll be there. Just give me a minute.
Oh, my God.
Was he just?
What would you do if I said yes?
The doctor's coming.
Me or for his hat?
Yes.
Mr. Justice Stowe is in the building.
What?
He's back in his chambers.
Mason, you know what's wrong with his face? The roof leaks.
I noticed.
That's Karnak. I beg your pardon? Karnak. It's a temple in Egypt. The pharaohs were so afraid the roof would cave in, they built this farce with huge columns to support it. So then columns, man gets lost, dwarfed by them. You know what's left after 4,000 years? Just the columns, no roof. Sometimes I think this court is Karnak. So they lost, you can't find the man, he still gets rained on. There ain't no attention to the vultures circling the building outside.
You shouldn't be here.
Why not? I gave myself permission. Oh, I know there'll be a lot of people disappointed I didn't take the big trip. Be a load of Harold, he's probably already get the first draft of a eulogy.
Tell me, do you feel well enough to talk?
I feel well enough to listen.
I'll be standing by if you need.
What's wrong?
The other night you made an outrageous statement.
That's the root of my charm. What's that about?
You said you didn't think Donald Richards was alive.
Oh,
I shouldn't be talking to you about this.
Why not?
Lie back, will you? You're sick.
what's this, a get-well card?
I started to get worried about a few things, and I made a phone call.
No, that's always a mistake.
I called a man who used to be a law partner of my husband's. I don't know him very well. He joined the firm after I left, but I did know that he went to college with Donald Richards. I wanted to make absolutely sure that the firm of Loomis and Loomis was in no way involved, and then a few minutes ago this arrived. want to believe it at first, but I guess I have to.
Holy God, does the CJ see this?
No.
This makes that a whole new ballgame. Boy, is this going to shake up the brothers. Why the hell did this lawyer send this up to you?
I suppose he thought that if I knew about it, I would shut up about it.
Doesn't know you very well, does he? Watch Harold's face when he finds out. Come on in the conference room.
I'm not going in there.
Why not?
I am resigning from the court.
What the hell would you do a damn fool thing like that?
Why? Because my husband knew about this.
Donald Richards died in Boston in 1972. You got men that's a survivor for that whole bunch of me that come on.
The real guilt lies with the man who knew he was dead and covered it up. And my husband was a part of that conspiracy.
Did you know? Did your husband tell you anything about it? Then you're not resigning from this court.
Colonel Loomis and Loomis was involved.
One Loomis is dead. The other Loomis had anything to do with the firm for 12 years.
If there's suspicion, a shadow on any member of this court.
Did Ruth Loomis do anything improper?
No, but I'm not going to hide anything.
Don't.
The newspapers will scream.
Let them scream. It's good for their circulation.
What's protocol? Do I write the president?
You don't write anybody. You take the Olympian advice of a social justice Daniel Stowe and do exactly what he tells you to do. Keep the road down. Let the mud fly. It won't stick to you. Seems to me one of the most important qualifications of justice is compassion. That includes compassion for yourself. Resigning is suicide. Taking your own life and then someone the guy gave it to you. Resigning from this court without good reason is standing in the face of the government that put you here.
Without good reason. I have not good reason.
Because of something your husband did. You're the same person who's married to your husband. Hell no. Sitting in this court changes people. Changes men, and they've changed a woman too. When they let you eat for that leather chair you're going to sit in for the rest of your life, by God, something happens. You look down at the end of those long roll sleeves and you say, hey, whose hands are these? Is this anybody I know? Whose head is this? Whose thoughts? In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, this corruption shall put on incorruption.
St. Paul versus the Corinthians.
And all. Hey, you got pretty good recall too.
What if incorruption puts on corruption?
Ruth Loomis isn't corrupt. Probably the most honorable human being I've ever known.
I thought you'd be happy to have me off the court.
That's before you were on the court. Look, I'll make a deal with you. You don't resign, I don't die. I'm impressed for longevity around here. Hell, when all the little homes was my age, he was still a kid. Come on in the conference room, and let's keep on fighting each other.
You really think I can go in there and just pick up where I left off?
Oh, that's not the way this place works. Every day's different. You're different. I'm different. Every morning, a fresh start, a beginning.
First Monday in October.
Always. You know what's the next thing on the calendar right when you're supposed to have it? The First Atheist Church versus the city of Waco, Texas. You weren't going to miss that one, are you?
Obviously, community standards should prevail.
What about religious freedom?
Atheism is a religion?
God, yes.
Oh, come now. A Cook County diocese versus Fonda.
Happens to the U.S.
Boone versus Miller.
All of the Utah.
Oh, you're going to have a battle on that one.
Can't count on it.
You know something? You and I make each other possible.
You're damn right we do.
First time we ever agreed on